Welcome to today's tutorial. Today I want us to see how we're going to make this weather slide. So let's get started. So we're going to use the Adobe After Effects. I'm using the 2020 version. Already my application is loaded up. I took the liberty of creating this element before we started, and I already loaded into the project. Now what we're going to do is we are going to create a new composition, and we are going to call this composition FinComp, which is short for final composition. You're going to change the duration from 47 seconds to 45 seconds. If it will be longer, we will shorten. If it will be short, we will lengthen it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to input the background, and for this one I'm using a combination of a turquoise color and a white color. I'm going now to do a new composition. This composition is going to be for the cities. I'm going to do one for Nairobi city. I'm doing this currently in Kenya, so wherever you are, you can do it based on the regions that you have or the cities that are there with you. I'm going to use a rounded rectangle. Let me see which is the best size. I think that one will suffice. I'm going to try to put it at the center. Let me put it white. The text, Nairobi is a good text. Now let me change the font. You'll realize that some of these processes, as you're starting out, it's not going to be direct, but as you go on, you're going to get the kind of image and the size that you want. So we have Nairobi. I think that one looks better. Let me see if there's something that we can change. Good, Nairobi over there. Let me just see if we can darken that color so that we have good contrast. I think that works well. Now for this first element, that's where we are going to do the most work. For the others, we're just going to be changing the name of the city. I do another rounded rectangle. Let me see if this position will work best. Change the color so that I can have some bit of contrast. This is for weather, so there are two things that usually are there: the high and the low temperatures, so that you have a range based on where you are. So usually the high is in red, the low is in blue. So I'm going to select the high. The high in red. I need to change the low to blue. I drag it over there. I need to play with the scale. So that it works out best. The most important thing when you're doing such a project is the legibility. It needs to be easily legible so that when someone sees it at a glance, they can tell you what they'll be expecting in terms of temperatures and in terms of the weather, whether it's rainy, whether it's sunny. And that's why when you color code the highs and the lows, when someone sees a number in blue, they understand that is the lowest temperature forecast for the day, and when someone sees a number in red, they'll know that is the highest weather forecast for the day. So I'm going to duplicate them so that the high, I just replace the high with a figure. Let me see, 30, and then I replace the low also with another figure, 20. So there's a range, highs of 30, lows of 20. Let me see if I can align them. That one looks better. Okay. Let us continue. So I'm going to change that black to turquoise so that I see how it looks like. If it works, good. If it doesn't, well, still good. Now I need to input the weather element. They're going to go at the top. Let me add everything. The bit scattered. Now I'm going to select, I think there's something that I've added which is extra, shouldn't be there. Okay, now let me scale them down. Good. A little bit more till it fits well. Position. Now I need now to remove the background since it's already set on the main composition. So whenever it's cloudy, I'm going to turn on the cloud one. Whenever it's rainy, whenever it's cloudy and windy, there's one for that. Whenever it's sunny, there's also one for that. It's turning out to be a bit good. So I'm going to do a group composition and so that I can arrange all these elements together so that I can have a more neat look. Okay, this is better. Now a new folder for towns. I drag Nairobi into that folder for towns. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to duplicate. Then now I change. Sorry for that. I change the name of the town on the composition to Mombasa. And then inside the composition, I also have to change the name up there to Mombasa so that it can match. Mombasa is in the coastal part of Kenya. So I come and change this other one to Kisumu. Kisumu, I think, is in the western part of Kenya. On the shores of Lake Victoria. Let me change the fourth one. I need to pick something higher. So I'm picking up Mandera. Mandera, I think, is in the northern eastern part of Kenya. So the idea is to have at least places that will show that at least the whole country is covered. Come to the final composition, take all the composition for towns, have them. Now you see what's happened is that the background image is at the top. I move it to the bottom. Now the towns are well aligned. I just need to move them to the sides. Right now I'm using the arrow key. It's moving them a bit slow, so I'm going to deselect. Use the position button so that I just drag it. Using the position button, it's a bit faster. You need to make sure that the spacing is also uniform. I have 4 and I think I will need to add at least one more town so that can have more elements. So duplicate Nairobi again. I'm going to rename it Lamu. Lamu is also in the coastal part of Kenya, close to Mombasa. No, okay. Garissa is a bit on the northern western part of Kenya. Good, beautiful. Come to the final composition, take Garissa, drop it, scale, position here, then drag it. Beautiful, beautiful. Let me use the title of the grid settings so that I can see where everything falls. Now I want to make this thing a bit simple. Pull it down. I need to put a topic to it. Play around the title. This is today's weather forecast. And I also want this text to be prominent. So I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. Then I'll play around with the spacings. And as you can see, I want to have few colors. Already have white, turquoise, blue, red. I don't want to add any more colors, so I'm just going to change the color. There's black work. No, let me use this blue. Let me just match. Yeah, let me match that blue. At least blue and white have a good dynamic range and contrast. So that's how it's going to be. So far, at least now we have the basics. So what we need to do is to work on the animation bit of it, so that when the slide at the beginning starts, it's going just to display today's weather forecast, and then now everything else is going out to emerge from that. So let me center it at the center of the screen. Make it bold. Wonderful, so that it's easy to read even from a distance. What I'm thinking of is using weather elements at the top. Remember, we grouped everything together. So I won't pick everything. I'm just going to pick some. Okay, now this starts to look a little bit crowded. I don't think it will work. Okay, let me do a new composition. Now this new composition, I'm going now to add these other elements. Let me just play around with the scale. That's wonderful. Now I just need to position them. So I'm going to do the position, and I want major elements. There's no need to have sunny and cloudy. You can just have sunny and cloudy. No need to have them combined. Let me first of all put everything on a straight line. Although in Kenya we don't really experience snow, but let me see. I know which ones to keep and which ones not to keep. So windy and cloudy, I don't need both of them. When you press delete, you're just deleting it from the timeline, but the source in the project bin, the item in the project bin remains. Good. So I have sunny and cloudy. I have thunder and cloudy. Let me see if I can continue to remove some. I think this can suffice. We don't have snow, but it's good since there are some places in Kenya where we get hailstorms. I think that can still work for that. Now I just pick one composition instead of now crowding this whole place. That is done. Wonderful. We're almost done with this project. Okay, so today's weather. I'm just putting some keyframes so that we can have some animations. That needs to have a position keyframe so that it starts from there. Let me use this other one to know where the keyframe is going to be. Then I put it up. That's wonderful. Then for the elements, I don't think I'll need to have them. They can just float away. So a keyframe there, go back another keyframe. I'll just have them float away. Beautiful. Let's play it. That's how it's going to be. Now well, let's see what you're going to do now. Okay, so that the opacity keyframe comes in afterwards. I think that works well. Wonderful. Now let me put Nairobi at the beginning so that I want everything to come out below Nairobi. So I'm going to have a keyframe for everything now. A position keyframe. So I think I'll do another position keyframe there. Then what I'll do, remember I haven't put anything on Nairobi because Nairobi will not be moving. So I just need to paste the value for Nairobi so that everything now goes back behind Nairobi. Now let's play it out. Wonderful. So everything comes up behind Nairobi, and I think everything now should go behind Garissa. That will present some more editing, but nonetheless I think we are able for the challenge. I'm going to duplicate Garissa, take it above Nairobi so that Nairobi can go behind Garissa. I'm going to reduce the size of the footage. Wonderful. And I want them to, at the center, one to pave way for the other. Beautiful. The reason why we do this is that on After Effects, the rendering starts with the image above. Since Nairobi was above Garissa, Garissa during rendering came after Nairobi, so Garissa came behind Nairobi. But if we do this, if we have now Garissa on top of Nairobi, Nairobi is going to disappear below Garissa. This can change if you're on the 3D, if you're rendering using 3D, but right now we are not rendering using 3D. So we need now to put in the keyframes. For all the towns, so that they go behind Garissa. We don't need to put a keyframe on Garissa, so we have the keyframes where they should start, and now also the keyframes where they should terminate. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to input the figure for Garissa, and it's going to replicate on all of them. Beautiful. Now you see everything goes behind Garissa. Wonderful. Now what we need to do, in the same manner that this composition started at the beginning, that's how it's supposed to end. So I come with an opacity for the background. Once that is done, the keyframes for today's weather and the weather elements, so that they come down. Okay, that's a good place. You can copy these values from before, or you can just drag and drop where you feel it matches where you want them to be. Then I go to the composition settings. I think I'll reduce that figure from 45 to 31 with 10 frames. Wonderful. So that it starts there. Let's see how it plays. We have all the towns, and since Garissa are two and one paves way for the other, you will not see any effect on the project. Okay, the project continues. It's now nearing termination. Wonderful. Your project is now 31 seconds and 10 frames. I believe this one is a beautiful one. From here you can add music, whichever music you find fit to go along with this. And whenever you are changing, assuming the weather changes, as you can see here, the weather is similar for all the towns, but when you want to change weathers, I'll show you how to do it. But the first thing, let us lock everything. Remember, the final composition is not going to change. What you're going to be changing now are the elements for the towns. Then it will reflect in the final condition, in the final composition. Let's say, okay, sorry, I think I messed up somewhere. I wanted to lock everything, not to close everything. Set to shut everything to make it off. But let me play around with this so that I change the weather element. Let me see, Nairobi is going to be sunny and cloudy. Mombasa is going to be cloudy with thunderstorms. Kisumu, cloudy and thunderstorms. Mandera is always hot. Just say cloudy and windy. Garissa and Mandera almost kind of share the same. So let me just say it's sunny and cloudy. When you come to the final composition, as you can see, the weather elements have been updated.